We have some lag here. There we go. Hey, everybody. We'll be with you in just a second. There we go. We actually have video now. We have some lag, so that's life. Now, let's see who all is here. Teresa, hey. Bennett ain't out yet, is he? No, it's not time. All right. Hi, Pam. Hi, RD, Jeremy, Robin. Awesome. Got a big group of people. Anna, Tasneem, Carol. How is everybody doing? Hi, Desiree. My goodness. Got a good group. So everybody excited for today? We're going to have fun today. We're going to make some fun. We're going to do some fun things. Also have some things to show everybody. Some goodies. Shuttles are loaded. Awesome, Teresa. Awesome, Anna. Awesome. Y'all are on it. You're ready to rock and roll. Teresa, my tiny little shuttles came today. Hi, Sue. And they're tiny little shuttles. They're cute. You do know you can't use them, though. They're not real shuttles. I'll explain. I'm going to show them today. Hi, Kathleen. Well, I'm one step ahead of you. I've been tatting on mine. We can start a little bit early today. Get everybody ready to go. They are cute, but you do know those would make really adorable earrings. Yeah, everybody else doesn't know what we're talking about. They'll find out soon enough. Because I'm going to encourage all of them to get them because they are just too cute. You got to add them to your collection. And the price is right. Also, I placed an order today with Handy Hands on their new metallics. When it comes, I will demo the new metallics that they're put out for you guys and let you know my thoughts on it. Well, you tell Murphy he should not touch your beads. Them's fighting words. So, but let's go ahead and get all the particulars out of the way and let's get started because we got a long way to go and a short time to get there today. So with that said, welcome to everyone. I know there are some new students in the house and they're a little shy. They're not, participating much. Hi, Mavis, but they'll get used to the crazy bunch we are and they're going to love it here. Now, on top of that, we have a lot of beginners that are probably thinking this is way over your head. If you can make a double stitch, you can make these earrings. You made it, Kathy. I am so happy you made it. It's not above your level. Trust me. I wouldn't lie to you, sweetie. You're listening in today, Mary? Awesome. Now, I got a couple of goodies I want to show you guys. And like you heard me talking. Hi, Mary Jane. Yes, thank you for reminding me, RD. Everybody say hi to Mary Jane. She said she was going to be in here today. And y'all need to say hi to her. So with that said, and get that out of the way, and I know there was another announcement. I can't think what it is. I'm just too excited for today's class. So I want to get on this and get her going. All right. So let me take you down here to the goodies I've got on my desk. How does that sound? And then let's see what I got. Well, you can see my desk. It's a mess. I got all my stuff laid out here. And then I got some cute little goodies. That's the pattern we're going to do today. These are the shuttles that Teresa and I were talking about. Y'all see these things? They are teeny. Okay, very teeny. These are like toys. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're just like toys. Look at that. Aren't they adorable? They look like a shuttle. You can't use them though. I'll show you why. Pull them out. Look how small that is. But she tatted up this piece and she added it to the shuttle to make it look like it was tatted with the shuttle. But if you look at the end, it's not an open end. It's more for collectors. If you collect shuttles, collect these because they are too cute. You can get the pair for $20, less than $20, but it's well worth it. You can make a pair of earrings out of this and have the little dinglies off the ends. And they're a conversation piece, more so than anything. But they are adorable. And I do advise you to get these. When I run across something that I feel like is a bargain, I want everybody to get their hands on it, okay? So, hi, Jackie. Missed you coming in. Now, I'm going to tell you where to get this from. The place is on Etsy. It's called Pam Map. PAMMAP.etsy.com. Okay? So go there and get you a set. They are just too cute. Okay? And who knows, if you want to wear them as earrings, tell her. Leave her a note. Maybe she can put the same color on both so they match. But they're just adorable. Absolutely adorable. And like I say, I advise collectors get them because they're not going to be around in 20 years. And everybody's going to want some. Okay? But they're $20, less than $20 for the pair, and that includes your shipping. Okay? It was, let me look at my bill here. It was $19.44. Tax, tag, title, take it home. So get y'all a set of those. You got a conversation piece. People want to know what tatting is. You wear it. And they want to know how you make it. You wear it. So there you've got your tatting and your shuttle. That explains the whole story behind what you're doing. Repeat the name. It is Pam. P is in Paul. A is in Apple. M is in Mary. M is in Mary. A is in Apple. P is in Pam. It's called Pam Map. And it's pammap.etsy.com. Okay? So get you a set of these. Now I'm going to show you what Alexei Romanov sent me years ago, back when he was making the Baltic Amber shuttles. Everybody was going crazy over the Baltic Amber shuttles. And I got a set. I sold one at the auction at Tat Days. What was it? Almost $100, wasn't it, Teresa? We got towards scholarship out of that thing. And the girl cried because she wanted it. And so she won the Baltic Amber. And I had ordered a couple of more. And this is what he sent me. And yes, you can tat with this one. It has the open blade so the thread will move. This is size 100 thread. Everybody wants to know what 100 thread looks like. There it is. And you can tat with this. It's not going to hold an overabundance of thread. That's for sure. You may get a couple of rings out of it. And then again, you never know. Anna, send her a note and ask her if there's any way she could tell you how to get it to you. Most of your Etsy shops have someone that they can ship it to that will ship it to. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can tat with that. So, and I have, this is the baby version. And over here is mama version. Okay, this is the mama version. And I do use these. There's mama. But he made the shuttle and he made the case, and it's a magnetic case. And when you're tatting, your thread doesn't get dirty. I've got two of them. I've got the black one and this one. And I also have a Baltic amber. There you go. There's the black one. And this is the Baltic amber. And it's got thread on it. Tell you, when you see thread on my shuttles, guess what? You tap with them. I don't buy shuttles not to use them. So I'll at least try them once. Okay. If they don't work with my hand, but I think they're beautiful, I'll still keep them. But if they've got, helping loops on it, yeah, I'm using them. I use these when I have a big project because they do hold a lot of thread. If I'm working on a Renelex doilies, guarantee you I'm working it with this because these things hold a lot of thread. Also, the wooden shuttles I get from Veronica, she makes mine custom for me because she knows I like the bigger ones, but they have to be elongated, I guess is what you'd say, to fit my hands. Otherwise, I lose my shuttles. They go everywhere. I can't keep hold of them. So she custom makes my shuttles to fit my hands. And they hold a ton of thread. But if you've ever done a Renelex doily, you know how many times you have to load your shuttles, especially clovers and soulmates. So I use these because they hold so much. And the thread doesn't get dirty when I travel. So there you go. But he sent me that when he sent me my blue and black shuttle. And then the war happened, and I don't know where he's at. I can't wait to find him again because I do want to get some more of his shuttles. They're well worth the money. They're reasonably priced, and they're so well made. So there's all that. But I wanted to share that with you. It doesn't matter the size of the shuttle as long as you've got what you need to do. Okay? So remember that. Your tool is only part of the tatting. The rest is what you put into it, your thought, and so forth. Okay? Just because it's someone else's pattern does not mean you can't add to, change, or do something different with it. Just because it's a doily doesn't mean you can't use it for make a summer shawl. Connect a bunch of doilies together. You've got a big shawl. Small ones, you've got you a cape. Okay, there are things you can do with doilies. We don't use them on tables anymore, but there's other places we can use them. That's what this is about. Think outside the box this year. So by thinking outside the box, today we're going to do Karina Mayfeld's wave pattern. These are the wave earrings. Now these are done, these two here are done in cotton thread. Elizabeth, cotton thread. This here is done in Ceylon thread. Okay. Now this is microcord. All right. Now the difference between this here and this here, they're the same size thread. But as you can see, they're not the same sized earring. Microcord, when you work with it, it's because it is so stiff, it has no give. No give at all in these. So when you use cotton, it stretches, it gives, and it grows. Now, when I wash these, okay, and yes, I do wash my cotton jewelry, okay, because if you don't, I'll show you what cotton jewelry looks like when you don't wash it. Your skin oils get on the jewelry. This is a mint green. It's not a mint green anymore. This is all skin oils, and all it does is attract dirt. Now, Orvis that you use on quilts, you can wash it in Orvis. It will clean it. You can also use borax, just a smidge of borax and some water, and wash it in that, and it will clean all this off without discoloring. Make sure it's just a smidge. Otherwise, it begins to bleach. You don't want to bleach your thread. And then you rinse it really, really good, super good with cold water. What I do is I hold my earring up underneath the faucet, okay, or my jewelry, and just let the water run. And it gets inside all the nooks and crannies, and then I have a clean set of earrings. All right. But I wanted to show you what happens to your jewelry when it's made out of cotton material, okay, or cotton thread. When it's made out of this, the oils and stuff have no bearing on it. It doesn't get dirty because it doesn't absorb the oils. Okay. And you can get Ceylon, but for beginners doing this, use cotton thread. It's cheaper, you get more, and it's easier to work with. Okay. So now, next thing we're going to do, this is what I've been working on. Now, mind you, this is size 40 thread that I'm working with here. Now, this is 20. Can you see the difference in the 20 and the 40? The smaller your thread, the smaller the piece. The larger your thread, the larger the piece. Make sure you match the colors of thread with your beads in some fashion, either complementary or something totally off the wall different. Okay. If you've got a dress or a shirt you want to wear that's got 15 different colors in it, and you want to do a solid background on the thread, use the other colors for your small beads or for the center bead. You can change it up however you want to change it up because it's yours. Okay. Now, 9 times out of 10, if you're working with a customer and you're selling these and they say, well, I have to have it for a dress. I'm going to this big padootie, and she's wearing a specific dress and she's got a specific color. Okay. The best thing you can do is match the color as best you can. And what I would do is avoid matching to the earring part. I would match the beads to the dress if you don't see the dress, because color on your computer screen is not the true color. Did you all know that? Your computer screen will never show you the true color of something. It's not capable of doing that. The computer is capable of telling that screen what color it's supposed to be. But the manufacturer of that computer screen, which is another place, tells the computer screen what color palette to use. Okay, so don't go by what's on the screen. It's close, but there's a lot of things in life that's close. If you need an exact match for somebody's earrings, get a sample. Get a sample of what they're wanting you to match if you're going to match your thread. Otherwise, I'd match the beads as close as you can, and the thread would be something different, something more muted. Okay, so with that said, let's explain what I have done so far. Now, in the pattern, she's going to tell you how to put these beads on. How do you put this bead down here? How do you continue on? I'm going to start you off from the very beginning. Okay, this is how far I made it with 2 catastrophes and a whole lot of chaos in the house. So yeah, if I can do this with all that going on, trust me, you can do it. Everybody can, because it's a basic ring and that's it. You got a ring and some picots. You're going to turn your work, reverse your work, depends on what you're doing. Okay, so with that said, let's get it started. Now, this is the second earring that I will be making to match that one on here, because I don't make jewelry unless I'm going to wear it. All right, now when you string your beads, You see this here? Let me show you. Let me get it all together. Now, you see here's the shuttle. She has you 2 beads, the furthest point away from the shuttle, your center bead, and then 22 beads here. Now, even a beginner can string that on and get it on right. You know how you do it? Put the thread on your shuttle first, string your 22 beads, string your focal bead, and then your other 2 beads. And you've got your shuttle loaded. Most of you that loaded your shuttle before class will see that that is exactly what you did. You put your thread on your shuttle, you loaded your beads because she had it diagrammed in the pattern. Now, here's the pattern. This is the bracelet. This is the earrings we're going to make today, and here is the necklace. Now, I made another necklace to go with a set for the girl that makes all my shuttles. This is the bracelet. She didn't want the bracelet. She just wanted the earrings and a necklace. And she didn't like this setting for the necklace. It was too much, too busy for her. So I made a complete circle of these with a bead in the center. I put it on a chain of Josephine chain and put latches on it and sent it to her. She loved it. She wore that thing till it fell apart. Okay, so you can change up the pattern however you want. She gives you the permission to do so. Okay, but you can't change up the pattern and claim it as your pattern because it derived from this pattern. That would be a copyright violation, and we don't do copyright violations in this class. So she goes on and she tells you, it says it's intermediate. Well, you want to know what makes it intermediate? See how these rings lay on top of each other? You got a ring there and you got a ring here, and they're laying on top. That's what makes it intermediate. You want to know what else makes it intermediate? These pretty little beads. That's it. So once we take the intimidation of the pattern out, you can see why it's a beginner pattern. The intimidation is the word she used, intermediate. The other intimidation was the way these rings lay. The other intimidation is the beads. Now, if you can put the beads on here, you can tap with them. I guarantee you today, after class, every one of you are going to be using beads on everything. We're going to have so much beaded stuff, it's going to be unreal. And that's fine. That's a good thing. Not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So, she used Tenax 20. It's a polyester thread from Italy. Okay. Now, I have heard that they have a polyester thread. Hi there. They have a polyester thread on AliExpress called Sandbest. You can use that. It's about the same as polyester thread you get here, embroidery thread. Now, I will show you what embroidery thread I'm talking about. This is called Sim thread, and you can get this at any fabric store, if you can find a fabric store these days, but you can get it on Amazon and places like that. But you see how thin it is. In order to use this, you have to use 3 to 4 strands for it to equal up to a size 40. So if you're going to use this, know that you're going to be fighting with several strands of thread. I'll get it out eventually. But with the metallics that Handy Hands has come out with, I'm thinking those will work just like the 10X that she gets. And let's see if I've got. Now I've also got some Oran Banyan here. So it's like sewing thread, but it's not. Let me get it here. Here it is. There it is. There it is. Of course, it's not going to open because I need it to. Got it. We'll get it. It's eventually. We'll get it. Come on. Oran Banyan metallic. You see how thick that is? That is about the same thickness as size 40. Now this stuff tats up really nice. Okay, and you see it's a beautiful, beautiful metallic. Okay, but you can run this through your sewing machine or you can use it for tatting. It doesn't matter. But the 10X that she's talking about has the same dimensions as this Oran Banyan. Okay, and Oran Banyan is a good thread. Don't think it's not. Okay, but this is their metallic. I'm sure that they have more. This, you can't even get it here anymore. Okay, I don't know if you can get it in other places. I know that Rose Ground used to carry it, I believe. And you can just do a search for it, Oran Banyan Metallics. But it runs along the same line as the size 40 Elizabeth thread. You want size 20, then you have to step up into what they call the penny thread. And let me see. Let me get some penny thread out. I know I've got some. There it is. This is penny thread. You get this from Italy as well. Okay. Now, if you want penny thread, you know, yes, it's running close to a size 20, but remember, this is a polyester nylon thread. It's durable. It's not easy to work with. Okay. You really have to pay attention. So for beginners, use your cotton thread. Like I said, you can wash it. It's wash and wear. So there you go. You can use metallics. You can use all different kinds of things to make your earrings. But if you're going to use the micro cord, it's one cord. Okay. And they come in different sizes. You get them at Marion's Fiber and Jewel. And she sells them at a reasonable price. So with that said, we've got the thread covered. Now she used Sweetwater pearls right here in the center. She used Toho Ricalis on the right here. These are her Ricalis. Now, I'll tell you where I get these. You can get them from Fire Mountain Gems. Okay. And they sell them to you. The more you buy from them, the more you save. That's the way Fire Mountain Gems is. But there's a place that I bought my last set of beads. Let me see if I've got their name laying over here somewhere. I don't. I'll have to get it for you guys. But I saved a chunk. And they sell, you got a ton of that kind of thread. Yeah, hang on to it. Hang on to it, Desiree, because you'll use it if you start making jewelry. If I'll post the name of that place that I got my last bunch of beads from. They were very uniform. I didn't have to pick through and get rid of the what they call curs. And so I'll post the name up on the group page so y'all can find it, and I'll also put it on the website. But yeah, they were cheaper than Fire Mountain Gems, and they offered free shipping for less amount of product bought than Fire Mountain Gems. So, and they run sales. If you join their, mailer thing, they'll send you coupons and stuff. And it's like, if I bought all them beads, I'd have to move out of my rig. So, and they're beautiful beads. I know that they just recently sent out a circular saying that they got some freshwater pearls in. So, and they're really reasonable, $10.13 for a hank. That's not bad. So, With that said, she tells you about how many, what size, but you can use what size you want because it determines what size thread you're using. Okay. Now this is based on hers. 10X was the same size as the Elizabeth 20. That's just like the penny thread. It's close to the 20. All right. Now, it's the very easy pattern. She goes through it and tells you, she says you need 1 shuttle, 1 pearl, and 24 Toho Rakali beads, size 11/aughts. Okay? Anybody that knows anything about beading, when you say 11/aught, that is seed bead size. Okay? Remember that. And then she goes on with her notes and she shows you exactly what I showed you over here. Here, see? I was not wrong. She shows you here exactly what I showed you. How your beads are supposed to string. Here is her shuttle, and that's the way the beads string. And here's the tail of that thread over here. Okay? Now the stitch count. For the small rings, the outer rings, these here, those are 4 picot 4 with a bead in the top, 4 picot 4, except for the very first ring. Okay? The first ring is 8, bead in the top, 4 picot 4. Hold on just a minute. They mowed today. Yeah, grass is everywhere. So is pollen. All right, for the larger rings, it's 15 picot 15. Okay, that's these rings right here, these big rings. That is the 15 picot 15. Now, the last ring, which would be this one up here, okay, where everything's done, is 4 picot 16. Okay, so with that said, simple enough, isn't it? Now, here we go. We're going to put this thing together. Now, I'm going to set this here to the side because I've got size 10 thread, a larger bead for the center, and 8/aughts for our other beads to show you, because if I did this on camera, y'all wouldn't see what I was doing. We don't want that. This can go over here, out of the way. Go, just go out of the way. Here is our size 10 thread. Now, let's go up here and let's get all these beads situated. Now, you see I've wound up a lot of thread here. There's a reason for that. You will find out very shortly why I did that. So give me a sec to get done. You see the beads there. Now, I don't want to fight with all this mess of beads. So I wind my shuttle, put the beads on there, and then wind some more so that I've got room to work and not have to fight all this mess. So let's do the first step. She says, after every ring, you will turn your work. Well, they say that in other places, okay? Not, the terms are not consistent country to country, designer to designer. The term we use here is reverse work. When we reverse our work, the top becomes bottom, bottom becomes top. And that is the only way you can get this to lay like it's supposed to. Okay? Now we're going to start ring 1 with 1 bead in the loop. And we're going to close and turn our work or reverse our work. Okay? So to keep from confusing yourself, wherever you see turn work, put an RW. That means reverse work. Okay? That'll save you some headache. So we're going to pull that bead, roll these back up here into the shuttle. Come on. Get in there. You see how big these beads are. But I wanted to be sure you all could see the work, because that is the hardest part, getting everything to lay like it's supposed to and being mindful of where you put it. That's this whole thing in a nutshell. Careful what you're doing. I'm also going to show you how to hide the ends on this first ring. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is put our tail right about there, and we are going to pop that bead right here on our finger. Y'all see that? That bead's right there. Bring that on around. Because this is the small ring, we don't need a lot of thread to mess with. So she says it's an 8 count stitch. So we're going to do 1. Oh, wait a minute. I got that tail. Back at first half off on that second stitch, because we got to start hiding that tail. Yep, I don't talk and chew gum either. There's a reason for that. All right, after we get our first stitch, you take that tail folded over the back side of our work. Okay, now come in and do the first half of our second stitch. Pull that down, the tail, snug it up to that other stitch. Come in and do the second half of that stitch. Again, pull it through. Follow that core thread all the way through. Okay. We're going to do our third stitch. We're going to keep doing this till we hit our 5th stitch. All right. Because we don't want it to come out. We're wearing this. All right. So now we've got 3, 4, 5 coming up. This is the second half of the 4th one. 5 is next. Now in this first half of the 5, we're going to drop this tail, and we're going to fold it back again behind the work. Now we're going to put in the second half of that stitch. Everybody catch that. Before I go any further, if you caught it, give me a thumbs up. If you're confused, let me know. I will back it up and redo it. This is important that you hide that tail in this ring. That's something she didn't tell you. Now, thumbs up if y'all caught that. You do 4.5 stitches. You're weaving that tail in and out on the core thread. Then on the half stitch, on your 5th stitch, you fold it back. All right, Carol got it. All right, we got 2 that's got it. I'm going to assume everybody got that. All right, we're moving on then. All right, now we're at 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now you remember that bead we slid back here on our finger? We're going to pull that bead right up there to our earring. Just like that. We're going to put in our double stitch and pull it over. Going to put in the second half. Now before we move on, we want to make sure that bead sits up here on the top just like it's supposed to. Now we can move on. And we put in the 4 double stitches. Don't drop our shuttle. Just don't drop the shuttle. All right, we got 2, 3, and 4. Now we got to put in a picot. And it's got to be a super small picot. All right. So we're going to put that in. It's one of those picots that's a blip. Okay. You don't want to see it. Now, put in the second half of that first on the next set of 4. Pull that picot into place. You can barely see that picot. That's what you need. because if it gets any bigger, it is going to show on these earrings. Okay, so it's a blip of a picot. Best way to describe it. Now, let's move on. We got 3 more double stitches to put in to finish this first ring. There's 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we got all of our stitches in. Grab the ring. Now watch what I'm doing here, folks. I'm putting the first and the second part of that ring, the beginning and the end, however you want to call it, in the pinch, and I'm pulling. If that thread twists, stop. Take your shuttle, work that twist out. Do not let your thread go up in there twisted, because you'll never get that ring closed. Okay, now we've got that done. Our little tail hanging out back here, you see it? We're going to lay that down. We're going to get our scissors, and we're going to snip that tail by pulling straight up on that thread and snip. And you want to push down with your scissors, pull up with the tail, and snip. Why? Because you want it to go back into the core area. Now, she says on our next ring, which is the big boy, okay, we're going to tap 15 double stitches, make a very large picot with our pearl, and tap 15 more. But before we can do that, we've got to take the pearl and the second of the first 2 beads off of that mass of beads we've got tucked away here. Now I'm going to show you something. This is what I want you to do. Back off some thread. You're going to need to. Run those beads up in there. Now push your thread back on. You'll see why we just did that. Save yourself time. Save yourself trouble. This is those big rings that everybody dreads. So do what I'm saying. All right? It will save you so much trouble. Trust me. Now, hold that pearl in your finger and drop that bead down to that ring. Grab the bead and that ring. Make sure you are rotated. We're not rotated. Reversed our work. Okay, there we go. The way to tell if this is in the right direction or not is this little tiny picot over here. You can barely see. That little tiny picot has no caps on it on the back side, and that's what you want facing up for this part. Drop that bead and hold it. The bead got slipped in between the sets of double stitches. Are you talking the bead at the top? This bead up here, Desiree? If you're talking about this bead, yes, it will slip in between the 2 double stitches, but still sit right on top. If you do it right, that's the way it's supposed to work. The bottom half of that bead will sit right in between them. Let me zoom it up. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Hi, Aurora. You're not late. You're right on time. So you see it, Desiree? It takes practice, sweetie. Practice makes you perfect. Hopefully. I've been practicing many years. I'm not perfect yet. All right. Now I'm going to move on. I'll watch for your answer, okay? Once you get that bead down there on top of that ring, you pinch that area right there so that bead doesn't move. You put this big pearl bead in your loom. Okay, and you're going to grab the top of the loom. Now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to pull back because we need some thread. On these big rings, you don't want to have to go grabbing for thread. Okay, so pull you off a hank of thread, big chunk of thread. Now, what you want to do is work yourself back across by wrapping your hand with all this extra thread. Okay, what that does is when you need more thread, you just pull it off. You don't stretch your thread out of shape because it's hard to recover on a pair of earrings like this. So now we're going to move on. Everything's tatted traditionally in this. There is no front side, no back side. It's traditional. You want to do front side, back side, that's up to you. You can drive yourself crazy. I'm not going to. Now, watch what I'm doing here. I am pulling that first half down to that bead as tight as I can. Pinch it, put in that second half, pull it down. It's locked in. Make sure the thread still moves and it didn't flip. Okay, because if it locks itself, you got to take it out. All right, now we got to put in 15 stitches. That's 1. This is 2. You see how tight my hand's getting? Release. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, that one didn't flip. See, that happens. You got to be careful. You really don't want to rip out this. You really don't want to. You can tear your thread up real fast. All right, so let's count this off. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pull off some more. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pull off some more. 13, 14, 15. Now you can put as much on your finger as you want to compensate for this. Hi, Judy. Now, this is the tricky part. We got our bead. Now we got to leave enough space to join 7 more beads to this. And Karina says, okay, the picot must have at least double of the diameter of your pearl. Okay, because you will need to use it to join the next 7 big rings. All right, it has to be loose. So what I do is I grab my pearl, I put it down there, and I scooch off. All right, that would be 1 pearl. Come over, and we got 2 pearl. So it's a guesstimate. All right, then pull in your stitch. All right, that's our first double stitch. There's the picot with our pearl in it. And this is where we're going to join all those rings. And this will get really, really tight with all the joins. And it'll lay like it's supposed to. Now we've got our first double stitch in. Let's put in the rest. That's 2. We got to put 15 in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Getting tight in there. So pull off some more. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now, oh my goodness, look how big this ring is. It's huge. It's huge, people. It's huge. But you know what? We can close this ring in segments. All right? We just have to get that end in our pinch. Bring this one around. Make sure that the stitches are laying like they're supposed to be, flat. And this is size 10 thread. This is not 20. This is not 40. It's 10. And you just start pulling that ring closed. If it catches, pull the twist and keep going. Keep going. As it closes up, put your fingers there. Now, if you want to really get energetic, you can use the balanced double stitch or the double stitch, whatever you want to call it, on this. And you would tat, say, all right, this has got 15 double stitches. You'd put one on each side and you would count it as 2 stitches. So you would put in 11 total stitches regular and then 1 balanced double stitch on each side. Or wait a minute, 12, 13, 14. That'd be 13 and 1 balanced double stitch. I was counting for 2 and it's not. You would do 12 on this side, or 13 on this side, a balanced double stitch, 13 on this side, balanced double stitch. Okay. If you want to do 2, you have to back off 2 on your count. Does that make sense? Okay. She said, yes, ma'am, the little bead. If it went, like I told you, if it got in between your 2 double stitches, you're on par. If it's down here on this bottom on your core thread, you got it in the wrong place. Okay? The only one that's supposed to be on the core thread is the one dividing the small bead or small ring and the large ring. Okay? So, any other questions? I'm not going to move on yet until we have all the questions so far, because the next part is so easy. It's just going to blow your mind. Hi, Deborah. I seen your pictures. Oh, man, that was gorgeous. Crater Lake. They've shut that place down, I heard. They're doing some work. So are there any questions before we go any further? Or are we all tied up knots over there? The threads all wrapped around our fingers. And tell me, what's going on? You lost the feed because you did. Okay. Yes, you're right. If the only place that the seed bead is supposed to be on the core thread is between the 2 rings here. This one will come up on the picot. It should have been in the loom on your hand. Okay. Now, that's if you did it right. But when you put it on here, the bottom half of that seed bead's going to look like it's sitting in between the 2 double stitches. And it's right if it does. You're welcome. Okay, let's see. We're saying no questions. Awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. Well, let's move on. Now we've got this ring. Let's set it up right. That's the front side. Get under there. Get under there. All right, this is going to be the back side right here. We're backside of the tatting, okay? Because we're checking that picot to make sure. After you get past this next ring, it's a breeze. It really is. Okay, so we go into the shuttle again. First thing we're going to do is get all that thread. And this will work itself out between 2 rings, I'm telling you. You want to back down 2 of your beads automatically. Okay? Why do you want to do that? Because guess what's going on that core thread on the top of that large bead, or that large ring? A bead. So we're going to put 1 bead down here, pull it down here to the top of that. Okay? There we go. Get everything lined up. And when you get through lining everything up, your beads on your core thread coming out this way. And here's where you're going to make that join on this next ring. Okay, so pull that bead down on top of that ring. See that bead? Slide it on up there into our loom. Give us a loom. All right, pull off some thread. Now for this picot 4 deal, wrap your hand about 3 times on that pinky finger with extra thread, because you're going to need it. Okay, pull off some more on your shuttle to make sure you got plenty of room to work, and put in your first 4 stitches. Now, 1, pull it down on top of that bead tight, hold it in the pinch, put in the second half. Now do the other 3. 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to go down through the picot and grab our thread. This here will be an up join. Go down, grab our thread, pull it through the picot. Try not to split your plies. If you do, stop and use your fingers and get it in the right place. Okay, run your shuttle through, tighten it down. Now, make it look all nice and pretty, and pull off some more thread off the pinky. Now we're going to put in another 4 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pull up our bead. Remember, our bead's in the loom. Pull up our bead, lay it up there on top of those stitches, open up our shuttle, and put our first stitch in. We're going to stop. We're going to adjust that bead, set it where it's supposed to go, then move on. So that's 2, pull off some thread, 3, 4. Put in our little tiny itty bitty picot. It's a joining picot. Okay, got it. And put in our 4 stitches. That's 1. This is 2. This is 3. Got to get that last bit of thread. And there's 4. Now, for those of you using Elizabeth thread, right about now your thread's twisting like crazy. Drop your shuttle. Grab your loom on these small rings. Don't do this on the big rings. Do it on the small rings. Pull back. See how that shuttle's spinning? It is getting that twist out. You want to do that. That every other ring, the small ones, not the big ones, but every other small ring, draw back on that thread. That gets that twist out. Then begin to close your ring. Put your 2 ends in the pinch and pull. Okay. Got it? Now we've got 2 small rings side by side. And down at the bottom, we've got a large ring with a bead. And you can say, wow, that's a neat looking owl. Because that's what it looks like. And he's got his tongue out. So, that said, the next thing you're going to do is, guess what? We got to get another bead. So we got to pull off our thread. Now remember, this is the big ring. So we'll pull off a lot, because we want to wrap it around our finger quite a few times so we have that extra thread for the rings. Okay? So, now, let's get up here where our beads are. All right, we just need 1. So pull off 1 bead, then wrap our shuttle back up. Now, Going to pick up our piece. Going to reverse our work. Wrap our hand with the loom. But before we do that, that bead, bring it down on top of the last ring that we did. Set it into place right there. Okay. Wrap our loom. Okay. Now, pull your thread down. Wrap your thread around your finger. I would do at least 8 turns on the finger. That's 15 stitches. That's a lot of stitches. Okay. Now, this is going to flippy. It's going to floppy. It's going to drive you crazy for a little bit. Just move it out of your way. Okay. You don't hurt nothing by moving things out of the way. Pull that down on top of that bead and turn your work just a little sideways to really tighten that stitch down. And then come in with that second half. Watch it. You don't want to catch your purl in that second half. All right, so now we're going to put in 15 stitches. We got our first one. This is second. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull off some thread. Not that much. First half of 5, second half of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pull off some more thread. 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, now tighten that up. Now here we go. We have to join this. Which side are we dealing with here? We got the right side. Flip it around. Now, as you work with these larger rings, this is where it can get aggravating, is they flip, they toss, they turn. They're like a kid in a sleeping bag. Can't keep them still. Okay, that's fine. But straighten your work before you join. Okay? Now, this one is a down join. This is not an up join. It's a down join. The reason is, on this other side, it was an up join. This join will match this join up here, and it'll look uniform. Now, if you mess up and you do an up join by accident, be consistent. Okay? If your first one's an up join, make them all an up join. Okay? Because it's going to show. If it wasn't going to show, I wouldn't, worry about it, but it will show. So, we got to get our picot joined. What you're going to do is you're going to grab it to the right side of your bead. That big bead. Run your crochet hook up through there. Grab your thread. Pull it through. Everything has to stay to the right of that bead. Okay? Run your shuttle up. Bring it down. Okay? And you're going to have to fiddle with this first join. I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to fiddle. It's a fiddle faddle. My mom used to buy that. It's like popcorn stuff called fiddle faddle and has caramel chunks in it. She used to buy that all the time. And I mean, you go in her room, she was having a field day eating that fiddle faddle. I'll never forget that as long as I live. She was like a kid in a candy store when she had that stuff. We've got 2 of our future stitches. Now, before we go any further, we want to make sure everything's not locked up and keep on going. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull off some more. 7, 8, 9, 10, tighten up, loosen up, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Get the last one right here. Now we still got a lot of thread left on our finger. We can pull it up. Now we got to straighten this humongous ring out. Now if you're working with smaller thread, you're not going to have this issue with the twisting as much. It will twist, but not nearly as bad. It's because of the size 10 thread. You want both ends in our pinch. Okay. Close our ring. If it flips back over your work, pull it out of the way. If it twists, yank it, stop it from twisting. And you see how it twists up there at the bottom. Okay, when it doesn't, just take the time, pull it out. Y'all seeing it? Grab some more, get that twist out. And the larger thread drives me crazy for that reason. Because not only dealing with the twist in the thread, but you're dealing with the twist of the ring too. Now, pull those stitches around. See how I just did that? Pull them around, and that'll help. Okay? Keep pulling. And this ring will lay right on top of where it's supposed to go. Now, here's what you're going to do. After you get it closed, pretty much closed, put your shuttle up there. Pull that ring over, slide it where it's supposed to go. Right next to the base of that bead. Okay? And the first ring. This is the worst part of this pattern right here. Lining it up. You hear my shuttle folding? Squeaking. It's squeaking. That's okay. It's all right. It's designed to survive. But there's your rings stacked on top of each other. And that's what you do. Now you just reverse your work. Your joining picot should be to the right if you're right-handed, to the left if you're left-handed. Okay, you drop another bead here, put one in the loom, do your first 4 stitches, join here, 4 stitches, pull your bead up, and you follow it all the way through. Your last ring, you do exactly what she says. You're going to do 4 double stitches, a picot join, and 16. And then you're done. And you have a beautiful earring like this. So, what do you guys think? Is that easy enough? Any questions? For those of you that think it's difficult, I want you to remember, okay, from now on, remember this. A lot of tatting patterns are intimidating because of the way they're worded. But when you break it down to our terms, it's not so bad. You can do it, Desiree. It will take practice, sweetie. Let me switch cameras. Go back to the other one. All right, we're there. How many of you think you can do this? Now, granted, your first try is not going to be perfect. If you could see the first pair that I did, I don't even have them anymore. They were terrible. I made about 6 of them just so I could get the rhythm. And I used my waist thread. How many of y'all got waist thread? Waist thread is Aunt Lydia's size 10, Aunt Lydia's size 20. That is waist thread. Something that doesn't cost much and you get a lot of bang for your buck. That's waist thread. Practice with that. Don't use the beads if you're going to practice. Yeah, it's easy if you don't break your thread, but don't draw back on it, Anna, like you're pulling back a horse. Lighten up on your tension. If you're doing that, lighten up on your tension, because these big rings, that is a lot of the problem. You're drawing back like this, you're tying a knot, you're pulling it, and all of a sudden beads go everywhere, and you're just going, oh my goodness. Oh, you're very welcome, Jackie. I don't mind it at all. I want you all to tat what you all want to tat. You'll do just fine, Anna. That you're right, Teresa. It will be very small. Very, very small. Well, this is 40. Where's that? Where's my 40? Now, I want you to look at this, Anna. This is size 40 thread compared to size 10 thread. I mean, you can fit the whole earring in the big ring on the size 10. Let me flip that down for you. Look at that. You see that? Actually, Aurora, the size 80, if you're going to make jewelry with size 80, say a prayer first. I'm just saying. Anna, do you see the difference? The big ring and the size 10 can swallow the whole earring on a size 40. There's that much difference. And see, people don't understand the difference in size of the thread, how much it can change a pattern. And, if you're going to use the larger threads, I would say cut down on the size of the ring here, the big ring, so it's not so difficult. And she tells you that based on your thread size, do what you need to do to accommodate the thread size. Okay. So with that, do we have any questions? Yes, Jackie, please, everyone, give me a thumbs up if you like this class. And if you've learned something today, give me a thumbs up. That does help our algorithm. Also, watch those commercials, guys. I'm not going to ask for donations. I'm just not. If you can donate, I do appreciate it. If you can't, just watch those commercials. Any place to find a thread size comparison? Desiree, go to Pam, if you're available. Please get her the link to the video I did on the different threads. Well, thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Mary. I'm so glad you came today. Hi, RD. I'm glad you came too. Now, I want to discuss something real fast with you guys that I've been rolling around up here. There's nothing up here but marbles, and every once in a while they roll around and they click each other and they come up with an idea. I'm thinking I'm going to talk to Sue today and see if I can't set this up. I'm got a lot of new beginners, and this class they feel is too far advanced for them. And I've also got some blind tatters, and I want to work a class up that's verbal mostly for them. And that way I can teach both in a beginner setting, but I don't want to take as many students as I have in this class for that class. So it would be a private class. Now, if you are a newbie to tatting and you want to be in a private setting classroom, send me a communication saying as much, because I've been milling it around and I got news for you. The Y'all need it. Y'all need that special time, and I'm willing to give it to you. It's no cost. It's the same thing as this. Exactly, Teresa. That would be cool. Oh, you're welcome, Anna. Aurora, I'm so glad you got to come. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can't see that with the program I run, so I'll see it later. Jackie, you want to join the beginners? Pam, get that list going for me, please. Thank you. Because I've got a bunch of new ones in, and they are really, really new tatters, and I want them to get a good start. I wouldn't use elastic thread for tatting if my life depended on it. You are asking for trouble there. You make a knot and it springs back and hits you in the face. Not me. I can harm myself a lot easier than having an elastic band do it to me. All right, Katia. How you feeling? Uh no, I don't. I do know I've got one up that's the picture of it's the threads that we've got that we can use for tatting. So I don't know. We'll find it. If not, I'll do a chart and I've got a chart, in fact, and take a picture of it. Let me find it. It's over here. Haven't been able to work in anything this week. In case y'all wondering, if I'm in a florist right now, okay? I'm sitting in a florist. I won't say no more. It is now a florist. Wedding stuff. It's all wedding stuff. Here's what I did, Desiree. Let me flip down here so I can show you what I did. And this way I can tell which one of my threads does what. See this? These are thread comparison. And it shows the size of the rings. And then I've got it written out what type of thread it is and the size. And I did that. This is my sample book. And anytime I try a new technique, it goes in the sample book. That way, because you don't use the techniques that often with your patterns, that way you can look back and say, okay, I remember something that I can do using that, and I don't remember how to do it. Well, my techniques, see, here's like these, they've got the description of the techniques behind the page. See? And these are all techniques I've got to put in here. So, and it keeps it clean in this sleeve. This is a jewelry travel case that I used to use for my jewelry. I now have a jewelry box that's a travel case. I'm special like that. I got tired of flipping through 15 books for my jewelry. So, yeah, that was the problem. That up and pick that up. Drop two things on the floor. Let's see what else we can drop on the floor today. I've had the dropsies all day. Nothing new there. All right. So now don't forget Sue's class Thursday, Katia's class Wednesday. Katia's not having a class this Wednesday. It's next Wednesday. All right, Katia? Y'all confusing me. There is blonde hair under all this gray, I'm telling you. There'll be blonde hair where the gray is soon. I'm going to fix that. It's not really blonde. It's dirty blonde is what it is. You're welcome, Desiree. Okay. That works. That's right, Jackie. We're going to keep you busy. Ain't nothing wrong with busy hands. They used to have a saying, idle hands leads to idle play, or something like that. My grandma used to say it all the time, and I cannot remember that saying for the life of me. So, with that said, next week, by the way, before I forget, in the pattern, she has photos of how to continue on with the necklace, with the bracelet. All you got to do is read her instructions because you've got the gist of the pattern. That's it. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Thank you, Pam. Follow her directions. You make your earrings, you make your bracelet, and make your necklace and wear it. And everybody say, oh my gosh, where you got that from? Say, I make it and it's $40 just for the earrings. You want the rest? $100. And you rich. Well, she don't have idle hands, Pam. So she ain't doing no deviling. So that's a good thing. We're teasing your kid, Tia. So, with that said, ladies and gents, that's it for today. Yes, needle and shuttle are the same instructions. If you need help in turning on the tatting brake, well, when you get help for that, send them my way. I've only got like 50 tatted flowers I have to make. So, yeah, my brain's just barbecue. Dennis says it's spaghetti and meatballs right now. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, you get a tatting brain with practice, but I'm getting too much tatting brain. I'm getting confused on things. Really, because I'm tatting up so much. I've got the headpiece, the veil. The veil is like, oh my God, it gets longer as the day goes on. All right, Mavis, I'll see you next week. All right, group, I'm calling it a day. If there's no questions, I will see you all next week, and we'll have another little fun little playtime next week. And it'll be another surprise. You never know what I'm going to dig out of the archives here. Yes, ma'am, you sure can. Anybody that wants to join the shuttle class, the beginner class, send it in. I'm only going to take 25 students per class, but I want to see how many classes I'm going to run. Yep, you go look up your beads. Happy tatting, Teresa. Happy tatting, guys, and may all your thread make beautiful lace. I'll see you next week, guys. Have a great week. Bye-bye.